Hey beer people, here's my first review of a beer I got on the West Coast last week. This was actually growler filled like a little over a week ago when I was at Monkish. It's, there's just a tag on here telling you what it is, but it's the Jello's Jigglin double IPA from them. And I had a taste of it at the brewery, liked it quite a bit. Hopefully the growler survived the plane ride and everything. It has Citra, Mosaic, Eldorado, Simcoe, and Amarillo. And I liked it more than the oat double IPA they had there. And I also had some of their sour beers that were pretty darn good too. I liked their rice one quite a bit. Hopefully this still has some carbonation. Yeah, lost a little bit of carb maybe. Let's see how it smells. That's nice. I remember at the brewery not thinking the aroma was huge. And it's not gigantic, but it's definitely potent. Yeah, this is a big mixture of hops, but I'm getting a lot of it in there. It's peachy, mango-y. It's got a little bit of a sweet, creamy, vanilla frosting thing almost. Like creamsicle, orange creamsicle, not bitter, pithy citrus at all. Candied citrus. And I don't know if I'm really getting anything from Eldorado. Eldorado is a kind of wild hop. Sometimes it can be limey and woody and piney. Sometimes it can be melony. But it smells really very nice, and it's pretty hazy. It has a fine haze, very, very pale. Yeah, and the flavor on this one is how I remember it. It's really creamy flavor. It tastes like creamed grains and vanilla. And it finishes with a very slight biscuity, like Conan yeast thing, like I get from some New England style breweries, like Alchemist uses it. But it's not too much. It's not so much that it seems like it's buttery and like peach cobbler. That's what I get from some breweries who use that yeast strain a lot. It makes it just like really creamy, and it doesn't have that bite in the throat, or that has like a chalkiness or a kind of burn that you get from some Trillium beers, which is nice. It kind of makes the beers almost seem more like actual juice. This has more of a creamed, grainy thing happening in the finish. That's really, really nice. And the carbonation is a teeny bit lower, but I'm still liking it. It almost makes it seem creamier and softer on the tongue. Not really bitter at all, but not too sweet. It still has a dry feel on the tongue. It's not slick or syrupy. Oh, that's really nice. The only thing is that the aroma isn't gigantic. If it were, a little more carbonated, and maybe if it were double dry hopped. I know that Jello's Jigglin, this one is not the highest rated of all their IPAs. They've done some double dry hop ones, and I'm sure are a little more aromatic, but yeah, the flavor's not, or the aroma's not exploding, but it's a really nice one. There are no off flavors. It's not really vegetal or dank or any of that stuff at all. The feel isn't super full, but it's enough. It's only 8%. And pretty darn hazy. You can kind of see a little bit through. You can sort of almost tell my fingers behind there, just like a shadowy figure. But this is really nice. On one of my Untapped little comments on their other double IPA, I said that I was begrudgingly loving Monkish, because they're the brewery where people line up for their beers and cause problems in the local neighborhood when they release their cans. But they did a really good job, and their sour beers were good. I'd love to try other ones. I've heard that they make some really good fruit ones too. And this is a much more interesting review and tasting than if I had done my Pliny the Elder bottles for review. I might not do those because there's plenty other Pliny reviews you can find on YouTube. It's just, you know, the classic great double IPA of the West Coast, and everyone kind of knows what that means. As you know from all my hazy IPA reviews, I'm kind of exploring what happens with these, and the Monkish one is really cool. It's all these like sweet spices. It's not very spicy at all. It's not green. There's no onion or scallion or garlic or any of that. It's just like every sort of creamsicle and fruit flavor that you can get. I mean, I guess it's not very citrusy, but I mean, I'm sort of a key lime pie sort of thing, maybe. If you mix together like cream and fruit, that's what I'm getting mostly from the aroma and flavor out of this beer. It's very, very pleasant. And so soft on the palate and in the finish. My throat is a little bit, not quite sore, but kind of scratchy right now. And this beer is actually softening it. I noticed with some beers that are a little bit tart or bitter, or like Trillium beers, it makes your throat burn a teeny bit, but this is not doing that at all. I really love the feel. It's up there with the great creamy feel of Treehouse, but Treehouse is definitely much more malt forward. This one is all hops and creaminess and fruit, just kind of like I get from Trillium. It doesn't have the malt, the barley, actual malted barley aromas that I get from Treehouse. Maybe it's a little bit like Bissell Brothers, but then this does have that extra little Conan yeast thing happening in the finish. That is, if it's too much, it almost seems like diacetyl to me, but this one's not too much. So it's definitely up my alley. I'd give us a really good score. Why not 90 or something? And I don't think I'm hyping up Monkish by saying good things about it. It's a very good beer. I recommend going there. I was there on a Friday afternoon, walked right in, got this growler super easy. I think it's different when they release cans, and there are some other good breweries in that neighborhood, in Torrance and Gardena, south of Los Angeles. This is definitely up there with the other New England IPAs that I have regularly. So yeah, give it a try. I guess some people could trade for Monkish cans, but if you're in the LA area, it's definitely worth going to their place. And if you're there, go to Phantom Carriage. There are really cool breweries nearby. All right, bye-bye.